All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I am Saira Mujtaba and with me is Vaibhav Jyotsna Srivastav. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives in Glasgow to participate in World Leaders Summit on COP26. G20 Summit adopts Rome Declaration. Member countries agree on reciprocal recognition of vaccines and faster approval by WHO. Prime Minister holds bilateral meetings with his Spanish counterpart and German Chancellor in Rome on the sidelines of G20 Summit. Union Minister Sarbanand Sonowal reviews progress of sea trials of indigenous aircraft carrier Vikrant. India's vaccination coverage crosses 106 crore 34 lakh mark. Prime Minister to chair a review meeting with officials of districts having low vaccination coverage on Wednesday. Delhi schools reopen for all classes from today. Delhi Airport resumes flight operations from T1 terminal after 18 months. Superstar Rajnikant discharged from Chennai hospital after minor surgery. And in cricket, New Zealand beat India by 8 wickets in T20 World Cup. As India created history by administering 100 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all the doctors, nurses, frontline workers and all those who got vaccinated and made this possible. Even though the country has achieved this feat, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. During the festive season, please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Jan Utsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. The quiz is being conducted every Monday and Tuesday in Morning News since 16th of August and will continue till 15th August 2022. India Post has joined hands as the logistics partner with All India Radio News for the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. And coming to our 23rd question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz in English. Who founded Satya Shodhak Samaj to build a new society based on truth and equality? I repeat the question. Who founded Satya Shodhak Samaj to build a new society based on truth and equality? Listeners can send in their responses to the question over WhatsApp on 8826 546262. I repeat the number 8826 546262 or through email on amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in. Amrit Mahotsav Quiz @prasarbharati.gov.in.
And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in Glasgow last night on a 2-day visit to UK to participate in the 26th session of the Conference of Parties COP26. Mr. Modi received a rousing welcome from the Indian community when he reached at a hotel in Glasgow.
Very, very excited. So first time Modi ji come to Scotland and we are very, very excited about it. Looking forward to it.
We're very happy to
see him.
We're so excited. We saw him. Oh wow. We're overwhelmed to see him actually. It is fantastic to him, meeting him.
The high-level segment of COP26 titled The World Leaders Summit is being held today and tomorrow under the presidency of UK partnering with Italy. The summit will be attended by heads of state and government of more than 120 countries. In Glasgow, another important event will be the launch of Global Green Grids Initiative under the vision of One Sun, One World, One Grid. Mr. Modi, along with the Australian and UK Prime Ministers, will launch a new initiative for infrastructure for resilient island states. The leaders' event organised by COP26 presidency will focus on climate change, mitigation, adaptation and building resilience and clean technology innovation. The Prime Minister last attended COP21 in Paris in 2015 when the Paris Agreement was concluded and whose implementation commences this year. At COP26, the parties will work to achieve the completion of Paris Agreement implementation guidelines, the mobilization of climate finance, actions to strengthen climate adaptation, technology development and transfer, and keeping in reach the Paris Agreement goals of limiting the rise in global temperatures. The G20 summit, which concluded yesterday, has adopted the Rome Declaration. The member countries who have agreed on mutual recognition of vaccines, strengthening of WHO to give faster approvals to vaccines and suspending debt servicing for developing countries till December 2021. Briefing media in Rome, Union Minister and India's G20 Sherpa Piyush Goyal said, G20 Rome has delivered a strong message of recovery from the pandemic in terms of economy, health, employment, education, tourism and most importantly, climate action. He said, G20 has identified sustainable and responsible consumption and production along with the provision of finance and technology as critical enablers to achieving climate goals.
On agriculture, we are very delighted to share with you that livelihoods for small and marginal farmers were at the focus of our discussions, and everybody has agreed that improving their livelihood is an important global effort that we all have to put in. Energy and climate was clearly the center stage of our discussions. India and many other developing countries pushed for safeguarding the interests of the developing world. We were also joined by the developed countries to increase the ambition from the current levels of commitment and active interest that the developed world has shown.
The Sherpa said a lot of the agenda of developing countries in which India has been taking a leadership role for has been brought into the text of the Rome Declaration. More from our correspondent.
In the declaration, the world leaders said they are committed to overcoming the global health and economic crisis stemming from the pandemic, which has affected billions of lives and hampered progress towards the achievement of sustainable development goals and disrupted global supply chains and international mobility. Underlining the crucial role of multilateralism in finding shared, effective solutions, the leaders have agreed to further strengthen common response to the pandemic and pave the way for global recovery. The G20 nations have agreed to open a shared vision to combat climate change and taken important steps towards the achievement of gender equality. They have also further advanced their common efforts to ensure that the benefits of digitization are shared broadly, safely and contribute to reducing inequalities. With the report of Diwakar, Anupam Mishra, AIR News.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi met his Spanish counterpart Pedro Sanchez yesterday on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Rome. The two leaders held discussion to strengthen bilateral relations. Both leaders had fruitful talks on ways to deepen ties between India and Spain. The two nations are cooperating extensively in areas such as trade, energy, innovation and more. Mr. Modi invited Spain to invest in various sectors in India, including green hydrogen, infrastructure and defence manufacturing, and further take advantage of India's national infrastructure pipeline, asset monetization plan and the Gati Shakti plan. The two leaders welcomed the growing bilateral trade and investment linkages, including the recent signing of the contract to procure 56 C-295 aircrafts from Airbus Spain, 40 of which will be made in India in collaboration with Tata Advanced Systems. Mr. Modi also met German Chancellor Angela Merkel yesterday. Both sides extensively discussed bilateral relations and reaffirmed the commitment to maintain the close strategic partnership. The PMO said strong friendship between the two nations augurs well for the well-being of the planet. He also met President of Indonesia, Joko Widodo, on the sidelines of the summit. PM Modi also attended an event hosted by US President Joe Biden on supply chain resilience.
Union Minister for Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Sarbanand Sonowal, reviewed progress of sea trials of indigenous aircraft carrier Vikrant during an on-board visit at sea yesterday. Designed by Indian Navy's Directorate of Naval Design, DND, Vikrant is being built at Cochin Shipyard Limited, CSL. The ship had sailed out for the second sea trials on 24th of October. The Indian Navy said the ship is now undergoing second phase of sea trials, during which detailed trials and testing of propulsion machinery, electrical and electronic suites, deck machinery, life-saving appliances and ship systems are being conducted. After witnessing the sea trials, the Minister impressed upon Cochin Shipyard Limited to ensure timely delivery of the ship in April 2022, to realize commissioning of the ship by August 2022 to commemorate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. With the delivery of the aircraft carrier, India will join a select group of nations with the capability to indigenously design and build an aircraft carrier, which will be a real testimony to the Make in India thrust of the government. The Election Commission has announced by-polls for 2 seats of Rajya Sabha, 1 each in West Bengal and Kerala. The notification for the by-polls will be issued on 9th of November and polling will be held on 29th of November. The seats are vacant due to resignation of Arpita Ghosh of Trinamool Congress and Jose K. Mani of Kerala Congress M. The Commission also announced biennial elections to the Andhra Pradesh Legislative Council and Telangana Legislative Council by the members of Legislative Assembly. 3 seats in Andhra Pradesh and 6 seats in Telangana will go to polls on the 29th of next month. Notification for the polls will be issued on 9th of November. The Election Commission also announced by-polls to 1 seat of Maharashtra Legislative Council. Polling for the seat will be held on 29th of next month.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives in Glasgow to participate in World Leaders Summit on COP26. G20 Summit adopts Rome Declaration. Member countries agree on reciprocal recognition of vaccines and faster approval by WHO. Prime Minister holds bilateral meetings with his Spanish counterpart and German Chancellor in Rome on the sidelines of G20 Summit. Union Minister Sarbanand Sonowal reviews progress of sea trials of indigenous aircraft carrier Vikrant. India's vaccination coverage crosses 106 crore 34 lakh mark. Prime Minister to chair a review meeting with officials of districts having low vaccination coverage on Wednesday. Delhi schools reopen for all classes from today. Delhi Airport resumes flight operations from T1 terminal after 18 months. Superstar Rajnikant discharged from Chennai hospital after minor surgery. And in cricket, New Zealand beat India by 8 wickets in the T20 World Cup. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
India's COVID vaccination coverage has crossed 106 crore 34 lakh mark. Out of the total vaccination, more than 73 crore 39 lakh vaccine doses have been given as the first dose, while over 32 crore 95 lakh doses have been administered as the second dose. As part of the nationwide vaccination drive, the centre has been supporting the states and union territories by providing them COVID vaccines free of cost.
भारत का टीकाकरण ये ही जान बचाएगा, ये संकट दूर भगाएगा। मिलकर विश्व बचाएं सबकी जिम्मेदारी, ये संकट दूर भगाएं जन जन भागीदारी। टीकाकरण से ही मात खाएगी ये महामारी। है विराट है विशाल भारत का संदेश, टीके से बचा है देश।
We spoke to Niti Aayog member V.K. Paul about the vaccination drive.
106 करोड़ वैक्सीनेशन लगने के बाद भी अभी हमने हर वयस्क को टीका लगाना है पहला, और फिर उसके बाद 2 टीका लगने से ही काम पूरा होता है। और इसीलिए भारत सरकार ने हर घर दस्तक कार्यक्रम आज से शुरू किया है। इस अभियान के अंतर्गत घर घर जाएंगे, खासकर उन जिलों में जहां वैक्सीनेशन की रफ्तार पीछे किसी भी वजह से कम हुई हो। तो विनती ये है कि हम इन हफ्तों में, इन दिनों में हम याद रखें कि जिसने पहला टीका नहीं लगाया है वो प्लीज अपना पहला टीका लगाए। जिन्होंने पहला लगा लिया है और दूसरे टीके का टाइम हो गया है, उसको देर मत करो। ये हमारे देश के लिए, हमारे परिवार के लिए, हम सबके लिए बहुत जरूरी है। अभी भी हम कोरोना वायरस से पूरी गारंटी लेके बच जाएंगे, ये तभी संभव हो पाएगा जब हमारा ये टीकाकरण का काम जो है वो 100% तक होगा।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold a review meeting with districts having low vaccination coverage on Wednesday at 12 noon through video conferencing. The meeting will include districts with less than 50% coverage of the first dose and low coverage of the second dose of COVID vaccine. Mr. Modi will interact with district magistrates of over 40 districts in Jharkhand, Manipur, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Maharashtra, Meghalaya and other states with districts having low vaccination coverage. Chief Ministers of these states will also be present on the occasion.
Several schools in Delhi reopened for all classes from today after remaining closed for 19 months due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Some schools will reopen after the Diwali week. Delhi Disaster Management Authority DDMA had announced that schools will reopen for all classes from the 1st of November, even though teaching and learning will continue in blended mode. No parent will be forced to send their child for offline classes, and schools will continue all teaching and learning activities in a hybrid mode, that is online as well as offline. It will be up to the parents if they want their children to continue online classes or go to schools. Schools will not call more than 50% of the total students at a time. Schools will ensure that all teaching and non-teaching staff members get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 at the earliest. The Delhi airport has resumed flight operations at its T1 terminal after almost 18 months of closure. The Delhi International Airport Limited DIAL had announced the opening of the terminal earlier this month. The T3 terminal and the T2 terminal have already resumed flight operations. With the resumption of operations at the third terminal, Delhi Airport is now fully functional. The first flight scheduled from T1 after its reopening was an Indigo flight that departed for Mumbai. The T1 terminal did not handle any flights since March the 25th, 2020.
As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. And now let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
1st November 1913. The Gadar Party started the weekly revolutionary publication Hindustan Gadar from the Yugantar Ashram in San Francisco, the United States of America. The purpose of the publication was to further the Indian independence movement with special focus on Indian sepoys of the British Indian Army. The weekly was first published in Urdu, followed by a Punjabi edition on 9th November.
Later, the paper was also published in Gujarati, Hindi, Pashto, Bengali, English, German, French and other languages. The issues were first handwritten before being printed using a small hand press. With the British government maintaining an iron grip on the press in India, the weekly emerged as an important publication to counter British propaganda.
The articles in Hindustan Gadar were initially authored by famous revolutionary Hardayal, with the printing operation run by another freedom fighter, Kartar Singh Sarabha, then a student of the University of California at Berkeley.
Copies of the paper were shipped to India with returning Gadarites and immigrants and were quickly deemed to be seditious and banned by the British Indian government. Careful measures were taken to shield the Gadar supporters from the British intelligence, which included the measure of memorizing over 1,000 names of subscribers so that no incriminating evidence could fall into the hands of the British government.
In March 1914, when the US government arrested Hardayal, he fled to Germany, leaving the operations to other members, including Ramchandra, Bhagwan Singh and Maulvi Barkatullah. They continued to spread information related to Indian independence and informed readers about the harshness of the British rule in India.
Other Indians also helped out with the press that printed not just the newspaper, but also compilations of nationalist compositions and pamphlets including Gadar Ki Goonj, Talwar and other publications which were also banned from British India.
On November 1st, 1858, India became a direct British colony after the commencement of the Government of India Act. The powers of the East India Company's Court of Directors were transferred to the Secretary of State for India, who was provided with an advisory body consisting of 15 members. A viceroy was appointed to serve as the representative of the British Crown, and Lord Canning became the first viceroy.
The Act ended the controversial doctrine of lapse, and the Indian civil services were constituted for the administration of the country, with a provision for Indians to be admitted to the service.
Today, on November 1st, 1954, the Union Territory of Puducherry was liberated from French colonialism.
After India became independent on August 15, 1947, India called for the unification of Pondicherry with the Union. India signed an agreement with France in June 1948, which gave power to the people to determine the political status of the territory.
However, in the municipal elections of Pondicherry, Karaikal and Yanam in October 1948, all municipalities except for one elected representatives of the French India Socialist Party, a pro-French group. The new councillors at a meeting accepted the autonomy offered by the French government.
However, in March 1954, members of the Executive Council, mayors of Pondicherry and 7 adjoining communes proclaimed their decision to merge with India without a referendum. All communes in Karaikal also followed suit, after which a referendum was conducted by the French administration in the border village of Kejrur to ascertain the wish of the people.
On 18th October 1954, the municipal councillors and members of the assembly gave their verdict in favour of merger with India. The agreement for the de facto transfer of the 4 remaining French settlements to India was signed on October the 21st, 1954 and came into effect on November the 1st, 1954.
France and India entered into a treaty establishing the cession by the French Republic to the Indian Union of the French establishments of Pondicherry, Karaikal, Mahe and Yanam.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In some more news, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has greeted people of Andhra Pradesh on the state's formation day. He said the people of Andhra Pradesh are known for their skills, determination and tenacity. Greeting people of Kerala on Kerala Piravi Day, Mr. Modi said, Kerala is widely admired for its picturesque surroundings and the industrious nature of its people. Extending his best wishes on Karnataka Rajyotsav, the Prime Minister said, Karnataka has made a special mark due to the innovative zeal of its people. Greeting the people of Chhattisgarh on the state formation day, Mr. Modi wished that the state, which has a unique identity of folklore, folk dance and art culture, will set new benchmarks of progress. Extending his best wishes to people of Madhya Pradesh on their state foundation day, the Prime Minister hoped that the state, rich in natural resources and art culture, should continue on the path of continuous progress. He also greeted the people of Haryana on their state formation day.
Actor Rajinikanth was discharged from the hospital last night. The 70-year-old superstar was admitted on complaints of giddiness and underwent a successful carotid artery revascularization at the Kaveri Hospital in Chennai on Friday. The actor said that he is grateful for the wishes and prayers of all his well-wishers. India slumped to their second successive loss at the Super 12 stage of the ICC T20 World Cup in Dubai last night as they were completely outclassed by New Zealand. Today England will take on Sri Lanka in Sharjah at 7:30 p.m. All India Radio is broadcasting ball-by-ball commentary of the World Cup matches.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. Srinagar will have a partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Jammu will have a mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards the afternoon or evening. Leh is likely to witness a partly cloudy sky. Gilgit will have a partly cloudy sky. Muzaffarabad will also have a partly cloudy sky. National capital Delhi will have a mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between 16 and 29 degrees Celsius, while Mumbai will have a partly cloudy sky. Chennai, Kolkata and Hyderabad, all three cities will have a cloudy sky today. Visakhapatnam will have a generally cloudy sky as well. Bengaluru will witness a cloudy sky with few spells of rain or thunder showers. In Puducherry, there will be generally cloudy sky with intermittent rain. Guwahati will have fog or mist in the morning and mainly clear sky later. Imphal will have fog or mist in the morning and mainly clear sky later as well, while Shillong will have a partly cloudy sky. Aizawl will have a mainly clear sky. Kohima will witness a mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between 12 and 23 degrees Celsius.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. The G20 summit hogs all the headlines today across dailies. The Hindustan Times writes, G20 leaders agree to 1.5 degrees Celsius warming target. The Hindu Business Line reports, Modi's mantra of sustainable lifestyle reflected in G20, says Goyal. The Hindu reports, no time-bound pacts on climate change at G20. The Asian Age headlines, G20 pledges to phasing out coal soon, says will limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. An important development at the G20 is noticed by the Tribune. The Daily writes, G20 agrees on reciprocal vax recognition, quick WHO assent. In view of the upcoming festive season, the Pioneer says, don't let your guard down during festivals, people told. The Tribune writes, Haryana bans crackers in 14 NCR districts. PM to review vaccine status before Diwali, informs Hindustan Times. And finally, in some reassuring news, especially at this time of the year, the Times of India informs, cleanest October air quality in cities since start of AQI in 2015.
Before we end the bulletin, a reminder of today's question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. Who founded Satyashodhak Samaj to build a new society based on truth and equality? I repeat the question. Who founded Satyashodhak Samaj to build a new society based on truth and equality? WhatsApp your response on 8826546262 or through email on amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Modi arrives in Glasgow to participate in World Leaders Summit on COP26. G20 Summit adopts Rome Declaration. Member countries agree on reciprocal recognition of vaccines and faster approval by WHO. Prime Minister holds bilateral meetings with his Spanish counterpart and German Chancellor in Rome on sidelines of G20 Summit. Union Minister Sarbanand Sonowal reviews progress of sea trials of indigenous aircraft carrier Vikrant. India's vaccination coverage crosses 106-34 lakh mark. PM to chair a review meeting with officials of districts having low vaccination coverage on Wednesday. Delhi schools reopen for all classes from today. Delhi Airport resumes flight from T1 after 18 months. And in cricket, New Zealand beat India by 8 wickets in T20 World Cup. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a great day.